Disclaimer, this video is for educational purposes only. We are not facilitating the sale of firearms.
Greetings, Uverse. Welcome to Gunverse YouTube channel. Today, we're taking a break from the 22LR series. That's been highly anticipated, I know. But today, I'm taking a look at two things here. We've got a Dead Air Sandman X suppressor and a force reset trigger, Atrius. So we got a 3-position Atrius FRT, ambidextrous, might I add. And then we got the Sandman X we're trying out for the very first time. So stay tuned. We're out here at the range, and we're going to see how we do with some semi-automatic fire and some force reset fire. All right, so we're going to start out with some semi-automatic fire. Now we're going to try the FRT. Smoky. Yeah, it definitely blows back right in your face, but ran good. On. All right, well, that was a lot of fun. Let's take a second here to talk about first the Atrius FRT, and then we'll talk about the Sandman X afterwards. So let's start with the force reset. So as I stated before, it has 3 positions: safe, semi, and FRT. It operated flawlessly. I did have one little hang up where it didn't want to go from semi to FRT, but I don't know if it's just breaking in period or what, but it seemed to work fine afterwards. So not really that worried about it. It worked great. I didn't have one single, I went through about 250 rounds. I didn't have one single hang up, no failure to ejects, none of that stuff. So as far as performance wise, I have to give the Atrius trigger probably a 9 out of 10. And it operated fully, no problem. I didn't have any hang-ups when I just, let it rip. So very impressed with the Atrius trigger. Shout out to Anthony for installing it. So let's talk about the Sandman X real quick. So this is my first time shooting an AR suppressed. So the only thing I had to compare it to was 22's suppressed, and it does blow an awful lot of gas back at which I knew was going to happen, but I would definitely underestimated how much gas was going to get blown back. Even with these fancy shades on, I was still getting blasts of air through the corner of my sunglasses. So I was not really prepared for that amount of back blast, and I can definitely tell like my shirt stinks like gunpowder and stuff. So definitely an awful lot of gas was getting blown back in my face, but that's kind of the nature of the game when you run suppressed, I guess. So so I underestimated that a little bit, and I did think it was going to be a little bit quieter than it was, but I still ran Ear Pro. I knew it wasn't going to be, because this is a 30 cal can that I'm shooting 5.56 through, so you can always shoot through the silencer as far as like caliber wise. So that's why if you buy a suppressor for a 45 caliber, it's 46 caliber. So there's always a little bit of extra room around the bullet. But in this case, there's extra room around the bullet because 5.56 is a lot smaller than 30 cal. But I wasn't going to buy a can for every single weapon I have, or firearm I have. So I wanted to get multiple uses out of this. So this will do all my 30 cal stuff and 5.56. I'm pretty sure it'll work on my AK-74. So that'll be the next thing I probably try it out on is my AK-74 chambered in 5.45. So then the other obvious thing was the suppressor got extremely hot. I was glad I brought some gloves with me because I just wanted to check the tightness a couple times as I was shooting, just because, if it started unscrewing, I didn't want to send a round through the side of the suppressor or whatnot. I'm not trying to have any accidents here. So, yeah, it ran really well. Suppressor ran well. I did notice even the front sight post was getting hot. So the heat was traveling down and even up into the front sight post, which I found kind of strange. But, I mean, firearms get hot. That's kind of what they do. So, but yeah, it was definitely a surprise to feel the front sight post a little hot. So, but I think that pretty much wraps it up for this week, folks. Thank you for joining me. Next week will be the 22 LR comparison video where we compare the GSG AK, and then we're going to compare it to the HK36, and then we're going to compare that to the Colt or CMMG drop-in 22 LR kits for ARs. So stay tuned for that. That'll be a blast. Hopefully the ballistics dummy lab head will be in by then, but if not, we'll do something cool with that when it comes in. So thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe and like button, and we will see you next week. God bless.